Some moments last only a few seconds, yet they change a person forever. This story begins with one of those moments. An awkward accident. A door opened at the wrong time. A mistake that made a single father's heart drop into his stomach, but what happened next wasn't anger, shame, or punishment. It was kindness so unexpected that it cracked open a man who had been holding himself together for far too long. Before we begin, take a second to support the channel. If stories about kindness, humanity, and real-life emotions move you, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. It helps us grow and bring you more meaningful stories here on Tales River. Now, let's begin. Ethan Miller was 36 years old and already felt 60. Life had aged him quickly. He was a single dad raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own since his wife passed away 3 years earlier. Every day was a careful balance between grief, responsibility, and exhaustion that he worked as an office administrator at a mid-sized marketing firm in Ohio. The job wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills and offered health insurance. That was enough for Ethan. He didn't dream big anymore. He dreamed small, keeping the lights on, packing Lily's lunch, and making sure she smiled at least once a day. His boss, Claire Reynolds, was the kind of woman people noticed immediately. Confident, sharp, always professional. She had built the company from the ground up and was respected by everyone. To Ethan, she was intimidating but fair. She rarely raised her voice and always treated employees with respect. Still, she was his boss, and Ethan kept his head down and did his job. One Tuesday afternoon, everything went wrong. Ethan had been asked to drop off some urgent files at Claire's home office. She sometimes worked remotely, and it wasn't unusual for staff to stop by. He rang the doorbell once. No answer. He rang again. Still nothing. Assuming she was expecting him, Ethan gently opened the door and called out her name. That's when he saw her. Claire had just stepped out of the shower, wrapped only in a towel that had slipped. For one horrifying second, Ethan saw everything. His brain froze. His face burned. He turned away instantly. "I'm so sorry," he blurted out, staring at the floor. "I should have waited. I didn't know, I'm so sorry." His heart was pounding so hard he thought he might pass out. In his mind, his job was already gone. Worse, he feared being labeled something he wasn't. All he could think about was Lily. How would he provide for her if he lost this job? Claire gasped, then quickly grabbed a robe and tied it tightly around herself. The room fell silent. Ethan stood there, shaking, unable to lift his head. Then Claire spoke. "It's okay," she said calmly. "Ethan, please look up." He slowly raised his eyes, expecting anger, disgust, or at least discomfort. Instead, he saw something else entirely. Compassion. "It was an accident," Claire said. "I should have locked the door. You did nothing wrong." Ethan swallowed hard. "I understand if you need to report this. Or fire me. I swear I didn't mean." She raised her hand gently. "Stop. You're a good employee. And you're clearly mortified. Let's just take a breath." Something about her tone broke the wall Ethan had built around himself. His shoulders slumped. The stress, the fear, the years of holding everything in, it all came crashing down. "I can't lose this job," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I have a daughter. It's just me and her." Claire's expression softened even more. She invited him to sit down. She made him a cup of coffee, her hands steady, her demeanor kind and unhurried. "Tell me about her," Claire said, and Ethan did. He talked about Lily's love for drawing, how she missed her mom, how some nights she cried herself to sleep. He admitted how tired he was. How scared. How lonely. Claire listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't judge. She just listened. When he finished, his eyes were wet. He was embarrassed, but also relieved. No one had really listened to him in years. "I lost my husband too," Claire said quietly. 10 years ago. I know what it's like to feel like you're drowning while still having to show up every day. Ethan looked at her, surprised. He had never imagined his strong, confident boss carrying that kind of pain. From that day on, something changed. Claire adjusted Ethan's work hours so he could pick Lily up from school without rushing. She gave him occasional work-from-home days when Lily was sick. She even connected him with a grief support group she had once attended herself. None of this was announced. None of it was for show. It was quiet kindness. Weeks later, Ethan noticed something else. Claire seemed more human to him now. She laughed more around him. Asked how Lily was doing. She remembered small details. One evening, Lily had a school art show. Ethan had forgotten to request time off, and the event was during work hours. He was prepared to miss it, telling himself Lily would understand. Claire overheard him on the phone, apologizing to his daughter. She walked into his office and said, "Go. I'll cover the rest." But the client meeting, Ethan began, "will still be there tomorrow," she said. "Your daughter won't be 8 forever." Ethan went to the art show. Lily beamed when she saw him. She ran into his arms, holding up her painting. That night, Ethan cried in his car. Not from sadness, but from gratitude. Months passed. Ethan grew more confident, more present. He started smiling again. He even volunteered to help new employees, remembering how lost he once felt. One afternoon, Claire called him into her office. "I want to offer you a promotion," she said. "You've earned it." Ethan was speechless. The raise meant stability. Security. A future. "I don't know how to thank you," he said. Claire smiled. "You already have. By showing up. By being kind to others. That's how this works." Years later, Ethan would tell Lily this story. Not the awkward part, but the part about kindness. About how one moment of grace can change a life, because that accidental moment wasn't what broke him. What broke him open was kindness. Kindness doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it comes in quiet understanding, in choosing compassion over judgment. And when we choose kindness, we never know whose life we might change forever. If this story touched your heart, let it remind you to be gentle. Be patient. Be kind. The world needs it more than ever.